The third replacement for Eddie Kendricks is a topic of today's story. This man was a member of the legendary group The Temptations. He was a member of this group for about 10 years, contributing his smooth voice to several of their tunes. Today's story is about none other than Glenn Leonard. Before we get started in today's video, please be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born Glenn Carl Leonard on June 11th, 1947 in Washington, D.C. to Jenny and Pearlie Leonard. Now, like many families growing up in the inner city, Leonard's family was poor and they were struggling to make ends meet. Leonard grew up in the household as being the second oldest of 7 children. And with 9 mouths to feed, including the 7 children, their family would struggle to make ends meet.
I'm the second eldest of 7 kids, 7 children. And we grew up poor, struggling, always needing things. The bills paid, needed food on the table, clothes on our back. Kind of give you an idea of how dire the situation was.
Now, Leonard, he would find his scapegoat by falling in love with music, as he came from a musical background, as his mother would listen to artists such as Sam Cooke, and his father would also sing on the side.
And I didn't mention this when I talked to you earlier, but my dad sang.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He had a Nat King Cole kind of voice.
Okay.
And my mom was a Sam Cooke lover, so yeah, we had that kind of music in our house all the time. Yeah.
Leonard, he would grow up in both North Carolina and in Washington, D.C.
Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C., as you know. That's where I'm from, born and raised. Raised between Washington, D.C. and North Carolina, Durham, Raleigh, Rocky Mount. So I got a mixture of city and southern background and upbringing.
He would begin his singing career at the age of 6, and by the time he was 13 years old, he would begin to make a career by performing live on stage, at concerts, events, and even as an artist.
And I guess I started thinking professional when I was about 13 years old.
Okay.
That was when I started singing at the neighborhood parties and things like that.
Leonard aspired to be a well-known, respected, and successful performer. With a lot of hard work, diligence, and determination, he successfully founded 3 music groups by the time he was 20 years old. These groups were True Reflection, Instant Groove, and The Chancellors.
And one thing led to another, and I started my first group when I was in high school, a group called The Chancellors. We patterned ourselves after The Temptations, I'll never forget.
He was also a member of the Unifieds, which was a popular and successful Washington, D.C. group. Leonard, he would make his Cap City Records debut with The Chancellors, and later he would record for Atlantic Records with his third group, True Reflection. The Temptations of Motown, who was a famous and legendary group at this time, was interested in Leonard around 1975. Now, like many aspiring singers, Leonard, he was a huge fan of the group. He has long appreciated the silky harmonies of Eddie Kendricks. Now, after Damon Harris had left the group, Leonard, he would take his position, which he is most known for serving from 1975 until 1983. Leonard, he appeared on 10 of the Temptations albums, leading several songs such as I'm on Fire, Go For It,
You see the light,
The Best of Both Worlds,
so I leave reality for a world.
Ever Ready Love,
I never knew anyone warm as love.
and Silent Night.
Silent
Leonard, he will take part in the Temptations' 1982 reunion tour, which included the Class of 5 members with the exception of Paul Williams, who will sadly pass away in the 70s. Leonard and Dennis Edwards, they was close friends, but the two, they began missing performances and arriving late for rehearsals. The two became a problem due to Edwards' drug addiction and Leonard's drinking issue. Ron Tyson later took the position of Leonard, while Ali Wilson would eventually take the spot of Edwards. Leonard, he would become a born-again Christian after leaving the group. He would become a full-time ministry and was certified in 1986. Now, during the early 90s, Leonard, he would obtain his PhD. Leonard was portrayed by Benjamin J. Cain Jr. in the Temptations miniseries in 1998. However, the series mostly concentrated on the original and Class of 5 lineups. Leonard, he is married to Darcel Wayne, a former solid gold dancer. Leonard was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Musical Hall of Fame in 2013. Leonard currently tours with two different groups. The first of which is being known as Glenn Leonard Presents Hitsville Live, which is a full-fledged Motown review with both male and female lead vocalists. Also, Glenn Leonard has his own Temptation review group, which also featured former Temptation member Joe Herden. Since 2000, this group performed all over the world, most notably in South America and Europe.